here in the land of the sun, here where time has begun. I'll hear what you say. I will be by your side, here in the land of the sun.
Oh, the bass. Oh, the bass.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name is Greg. That guy over there is Andy. Andy, what's happening, man?
Not too much. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks for
Awesome,
asking.
man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So now we get out of,
all the pleasantries.
all the
are out of
pleasantries,
the way, right?
Now I'm going to stick you with a song and you'll be like, what the hell is he giving me?
I know what I signed up for.
I'm going to challenge you to dislike. I think you've done like 2 or 3 now so far, maybe. And I think you've liked all of them. So my challenge is to actually make you throw your arms up in the air and go, what the hell? So let's see. Land of the Sun. That's the name of the song. And I bet you that if I give you this guy's name, you're probably not going to, you know what? That's actually insulting you because you may actually, you're musical.
You might be giving me too much credit here. You've off guard with a couple of them, so.
Am I playing an accordion or am I telling like you're
squishing a loaf of bread? I don't know.
There's an accordion in the song. So his name is Skip Spence.
Okay. Yeah, that's not ringing any bells. No, not familiar with any Skip Spence or his work.
Ringing Bells is the next song I'm going to give you from Skip Spence. This one is Land of the Sun by Skip Spence. So I sent you the link. Go check it out and run on back. Don't stop.
All right, will do.
Don't stop anywhere. Just come right back here and let us know.
All right.
Here in the land of the sun, here where the river goes in. I don't know why that I should even try, but I will till my work is all done. Here in the land of the sun, here where time has begun. I'll hear what you say. I will be by your side, here in the land of the sun.
Oh, the bass. Oh, the bass. I'm loving it. I'm also loving what the percussions are doing, but I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't inclined to the bass in general when listening to music. It's sort of the first thing I seek out as a bass player. So this is tasty. It's interesting. I like it. The spoken word vocals that are happening over top are pretty captivating in that I'm hanging on every word to see where this is going and try to wrap my head around the sort of theme or message behind the song. But regardless, the rhythm section is is absolutely killing it. All right, let's go.
Here,
Okay, I also love what's happening sonically with the phasing in and out of this on either headphone of like what I'm assuming is guitar work. It sounds like guitar. But again, it's not like this ain't Van Halen, you know what I mean? This is ambient, effective guitar, not face melting guitar. But there's a time and place for both, you know what I mean? It's what makes the guitar such a versatile and beautiful instrument.
in the land of the sun, I've had my fun. Here, with my heart in my hand, pray with song. I've had my fun. I've had my fun. Up, down, down. Up, down, down. Up, down,
Wow, that was really interesting. I liked it. I mean, again, these are these type of songs where it's like it's not going to be an everyday playlist. It's just not, you know, I'm not going to find myself like, oh, I'm in that quintessential mood of like artsy, like Native American percussions and rhythm sections. Um, but God, it's got its place, you know, and it's really neat. And I'm glad that Greg shared it with me. Although it's another one of those where I'm like, how the hell did this get on your radar? Like, but we're better for it having landed on his radar and for him sharing it. So let's join him and discuss it, shall we?
Hey, so you ran right back, right? Are you out of breath? You had to catch your breath for a second, or what?
After that song, man, there was no running. It was just a spirit journey. That's what that song did to me.
Spirit journey, man. You
Yeah.
are full of the metaphor. I don't know if is that a metaphor. It's not a metaphor. You just took two things and smashed them together, and you made sense out of it. I love that.
I just call it bullshitting, but yeah, that's what I was doing right there.
That's like a Zen master or some yoga guy. Okay, feel the spirit journey. Go on the spirit journey with us.
Well, that's well, not less so much of the Eastern ilk, but more of the like American Southwest or native vibe is sort of where I was taken with the song. So that's why I chose the whole spirit journey, spirit quest kind of theme, because just the nature of the song and sort of the audio aesthetic of it was very much, you know, native. It just reminded me of Native American music. Like,
really? Wow. I guess so, right? Because I think you got some of that percussion stuff that's
Well,
going in.
even the land of the sun is a phrase that I would equate with that sort of culture or that geographic area. I've heard the phrase people of the sun, that is sort of kind of the same ilk. Or maybe that's more of like the Mesoamerican cultures. But regardless, it's sort of that's where it kind of took me to that sort of area and that those cultures and that sort of sound.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised I'm surprised that my observation surprised you because I thought that was what they were doing. But I mean, I don't even know who Skip Spence is. So what the hell do I know?
Well, Skip Spence has he's gone around the world and back. Well, he's dead now, but when he was living, he had one heck of a life, man. Heroin, institutionalized for a while. I think there's a story. I pulled something up, so we'll try to get to it in this sort of post discussion we're having, where I think he OD'd.
Wow.
And then he sort of woke up and got off the gurney or whatever, and like said,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah. So he
I'm out of here.
cleaned himself up.
No, well, I don't know if he ever cleaned himself up in years later. So he passed away, I think, in 97, 98. We'll get to it, but
I thought
yeah.
the inference was when you said he got off that you were gonna say like
No, I mean, we're talking about like in the late 60s, 70s, he was going through these episodes. He was going through all this stuff. He was some character, great musician. But and so when I think of the Land of the Sun, and this was recorded in 1997, I believe. So this, which is amazing, because when I looked up, so I got into this guy, it was a few months ago, and he put this album out in 1969 called OAR, and it's just a mix of folk and like psychedelic rock and some other stuff that it's really hard to sort of pinpoint like what genre, and he mixed this all together and he made it into this album. He was actually the drummer for I believe the first album for Jefferson Airplane.
oh
And then he helped form the group Moby Grape. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I think I've heard the name before, but
Yeah. So he was a drummer so he was like a multi-instrumentalist, I think. I mean, definitely played drums for Jefferson Airplane, and then he played guitar with Moby Grape. And and then he was
just one of these jack of all trade types.
I think so. And really, really like well-rounded musician.
Sure.
But he was having his problems with drugs and psychotic episodes. And from what I understand, he chased around, it might have been the front man from Moby Grape, and chased him with an axe. I mean, it's a real story. Yeah. And real story. And so then I think he was institutionalized. And like I said, from what I understood, he had OD'd. And like they thought he was dead, and then he just kind of takes the things off. He's like, and he just walks off. Heck of a character.
Guy's like a folklore legend with all these different factoids about his life. And I mean, definitely sort of that cliche, like, I mean, you hate to see it and you hate to say it, but that troubled artist who's like brilliant with one part of his mind and brain and the shit that he can harness, and what is unbridled and untethered sort of other side of his brain, and the demons in between. It's just
well said. Yeah. I mean, and how do you balance? It's really hard to balance that. A lot of times guys like that, they just fall off. They just fall off into the abyss, and they're gone.
Yeah. Their stars burn fast, but they burn bright, right?
And so when you say that, it's so funny. I couldn't ask for a better sort of volley up, because I take the Land of the Sun. I'm being serious now, of like, burning bright. He said, I've had my fun in the Land of the Sun, and it may not mean anything, but it might be him basically saying, I've been there. I've been, I've been in that sort of bright burning kind of, I was that, and I'm still here, which is amazing to know that this was made in 1997, because his creativity was really in the late 60s, early 70s until, like I said, the drugs really took a toll. And Moby Grape, I think, broke up. He might have actually left the band before the whole band broke up. And he really wasn't heard from. I think he was doing some stuff, but, to come up with something like this all these years later, that bass sound, I would think it's him. I think this is just him going into the studio and just coming up with all this stuff. I don't think anybody else was helping him. Folks out there who know Skip Spence, watch. I think this is one of our best discussions, and we're gonna get like 100 views on it.
Right.
So
it's so niche.
To you out there, and you,
yes.
Let us know.
To all 9 of you who Google searched reactions to Skip Spence.
Just to let us know. Let me know. Let us know what you know of this song. Because I believe that he put this thing together. That bass is like amazing because there's that
the
one
rhythm.
part,
the rhythm section of this song was just amazing work. That do 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 do. That just that driving bass line, it was and the sort of the rototom hand drum sounds of the percussions accompanied it, and just those two just rode the whole song out. Was just, I mean, if I had a track of just those 2 tracks laid on top of each other and they just those 2 parts produced together, that would be on a playlist. You know what I mean? That's some good walking around music, man. That just puts you in a good headspace. But I also have to sort of tip my cap to whatever he was doing with the guitars, because when I first started listening to it, once you get outside of that weird intro, which I say weird, but weird, that where you don't really know where the hell the song's going, and then the bass really takes over, and it's just from then on, it's once I got beyond being captivated by that, or at least to the point where I could allow myself to listen to other parts of the song, the really cool ambient, ethereal kind of guitar work that was happening, where it's not like this guy isn't playing structured chords in like with melody. No, it's just all of this for the sake of sound effect. It's really where the guitar was used less as an instrument and more as like this effect on the song and throughout it. And I started to really appreciate that by the time the song wrapped up, to the point where I was like, this is just a really cool, different kind of song.
And also his decision to, and I really don't know by 1997 how much he could even really sing anymore, but his decision to just do that sort of talk vocal thing, I had my fun in the land of the sun. It sounds kind of mumbled, so I don't even know.
It sounds very just like spoken word, like
it was spoken word, and it was mumbled a bit too. So I don't even know if that's, maybe it was intentional, or if maybe that was his voice, at that time. Because again, this guy went through a lot, so you don't know. But
do we even know if that was his voice that was sampled? I mean,
that's him. That's absolutely him.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking this is so, like, not repetitive in that it happened often, but when it happened, the vocals, the spoken word stuff, it was very samey. So I was like, is he just sampling this from a movie or from some sort of dialogue from somewhere? But it's interesting to know that was his idea, to just lay those parts throughout the song, like the vocals throughout the song, and in the vein that he did.
Yeah.
Which shows, like, again, that creative side of the mind that you have to be when you're a multi-instrumentalist that's been in all these different bands and done your own work and so forth. So
what's going to blow your mind is, and I don't know if you really had a chance to absorb the list that I gave you, but there's another Skip Spence song on there, and it's called Little Hands, and it's from that album, Or.
From the same album that this tune
no,
was on?
This is a single in 1997 that he just cut. This is 1969 from that folk album he put out in 69. And so
it'll
when
be fun to see the two bookends of the.
I mean, he was doing stuff like this a little bit on that album too, and at that time. But this song, you'd be like, huh? This is the same guy? I would put money down that you would be like that. But yeah, cool. So it sounds like you really got into it. So I guess I didn't disappoint you. I guess it's another song that you liked.
No, yeah. I mean, I've liked them all to varying degrees and for different reasons almost.
That's cool.
you know, there are some similarities I could find if I wanted to, but this is probably the first one where I'm like undeniably going to go on a playlist. Like I'm like, this will end up, you know, on my phone and
Excellent.
at times because it's a good headspace song. Sometimes I find myself doing like monotonous tasks for a while, and I need
Yeah.
something to kind of keep my brain active. And that guitar work to me reminded me of as if like it was an attempt to mimic frenetic thoughts. Like when sometimes when you can't think about one thing and you're sort of having that, you know, spastic thought process, like the way they were coming in and out made me think like this is as if this feels like when I have thoughts bouncing around in my head, like the way the guitar was moving in and out of my head. So it was cool that music can make you draw a comparison to something so oddly personal and something otherwise would even think about. You never like, what's the soundtrack to my thoughts when I'm scatterbrained? And then you hear a sound and you're like, oh, this is what it would be like.
Well,
you know?
what's so oddly personal is that you just used the word frenetic, right? Didn't you just use that word frenetic? And if you were watching Kristen and I, like in those reactions, you know that that's my favorite word. That's my favorite.
That became a crutch of yours for a while. Whenever there was like really fast paced and awful.
Frenetic, yeah.
Yes, but that's what I mean. Come on, frenetic is a great word, first of all, and secondly, when it comes to describing certain aspects or genres of music, it's completely applicable and apropos to you. So don't like correctly each of the 1,000 times you used it in those videos.
And one last thing I wanted to say too is that that bass, you play bass, right?
Yeah.
I thought of you with this song when I was putting this on that list.
Yeah.
I actually said, you know what? This bass is so effing bitchin' that, you know, I want to.
No, it's great.
I want to check you out. So I can't wait to see the reaction, you know, when I actually look at the video that you just recorded.
Yeah. I think I definitely remember stopping the music and observing the bass and being like,
cool.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't. Once that thing finally showed itself for what it was after that like you know 20 or so second intro, and the bass started really like speeding up the like it started off like by the time it was done it was like doing like 30-second notes like and then it just stopped for a moment and then the bass just was like boom, this is what I'm doing for the rest of this song and it's awesome. I was like, oh, okay, let me stop and pay homage to how cool this rhythm sounds.
That's great.
I definitely started with a bass, but then I had to also tip my cap to the drums because that sort of, you know, that sort of tribal sounding, you know, primordial kind of drum sound is, I mean, that really checks a box too for me. And then again, you know, by the time I got halfway through the song, I was like, damn, those guitars are pretty cool too, what they're doing with those. So, I mean, it was great. You know, it's definitely a cool, definitely a cool vibe that song has. So it's on its list.
I have not searched, but if I was to search for reactions, Skip Spence in this song, you know, maybe even Skip Spence overall, you know, I wonder how many reactors are reacting to Skip Spence stuff in this song. So paying homage, I think we did that to this guy who I think is so unique, you know, cut from a different cloth. And he might be, hopefully he is in the land of the sun today, right? Somewhere.
Definitely.
In that spirit sky. So
sure. With no axes nearby.
With no axes, yeah. Cool, man. So I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and you have a good night. I still can't get the finger thing down. Yeah.
Oh, and am I doing it right?
Yeah, you do better than me. And to everyone out there, thanks for bearing with us. I really hope you enjoyed the song, enjoyed the discussion. Come on back. Like to see you on the next episode of Into the Music.